The plane hummed like a steady lullaby, a sound that almost soothed Maya after the chaos of the last few weeks. She sat wedged in the middle seat, her twin daughters curled up on either side of her, their small heads resting against her arms. Emma clutched a worn-out stuffed rabbit, and Lily sucked her thumb, already drifting into sleep. Maya shifted carefully so she wouldn't wake them. Flying wasn't something she could afford often. In fact, she had worked herself nearly sick just to pay for these tickets, extra shifts at the bakery, cleaning jobs late at night, and selling the last of her jewelry. They were leaving behind a rented apartment they could no longer afford, heading back to her hometown where at least her aunt had a small guest room waiting for them. Her life had become a string of starting overs. But at least, she thought, her girls were with her. They were the only reason she kept going. As the seatbelt sign switched off with a soft chime, Maya leaned forward to grab her daughter's tiny backpacks from under the seat. That's when she noticed it, a brown leather wallet sticking out from beneath the chair in front of her. She hesitated, glancing at the woman in the aisle seat beside her, but the woman was fast asleep with headphones on. Maya picked up the wallet, surprised at its weight. The leather was smooth, expensive looking, with gold-embossed initials, EC. Curiosity made her open it. Inside, her breath caught. Crisp $100 bills, far more than she had ever held at once, along with several sleek business cards. She swallowed hard, her hands trembling slightly. That money could cover months of rent, school clothes for the twins, maybe even enough to finally fix her car. For a moment, temptation whispered. Nobody had seen her pick it up. Nobody would ever know. But then her mother's voice echoed in her mind, clear as day, "Maya, you don't build a good life on someone else's loss." Her chest tightened. She couldn't do it, not even for her girls. She slid one of the business cards out and read the name, Ethan Cole, CEO, Cole Enterprises. Her eyes widened. She had read about Cole Enterprises in a magazine once, an empire that spanned hotels, technology, and real estate. Whoever Ethan Cole was, he lived in a world galaxies away from hers. Maya tucked the card back inside and closed the wallet. She would return it when they landed. The plane touched down smoothly, and soon passengers were gathering their bags and filing out. Maya waited until most had gone, then gently shook her daughters awake. "Come on, sweethearts, time to go." With their little hands clasped in hers, she walked to the front where two flight attendants stood. She held out the wallet. "I think someone left this on the plane. It looks important." One of the attendants gasped. "Oh, this belongs to one of our first-class passengers. Thank you so much for being honest." Before Maya could step away, a tall man in a tailored suit approached from the front cabin. People instinctively shifted aside as he walked, his presence commanding. His dark hair was perfectly styled, his sharp jawline softened only by eyes that seemed to notice everything. "Mr. Cole," the attendant exclaimed, "this lady found your wallet." Maya froze. This was Ethan Cole. His gaze swept over her, then down to the two little girls peeking shyly from behind her skirt. Finally, his eyes settled on the wallet in her hands. "You found this." His voice was low, smooth, but carried authority. "Yes," Maya replied softly. "It was under the seat in front of me." Ethan took it, flipped it open, and confirmed everything was still there. Relief flickered across his features, followed by something else, a faint curiosity. Most people, he knew, would have pocketed the cash. Yet here stood a woman who clearly didn't have much, returning thousands without hesitation. "Thank you," he said after a pause. "You saved me from a very complicated trip." Maya shifted uncomfortably under his gaze. "It's nothing. Anyone would have done the same." "Not anyone," Ethan said quietly, his eyes narrowing slightly as if studying her more closely. The twins tugged at her hand. "Mama, can we go?" Emma whispered. Maya nodded quickly. "We should be going." But before she could leave, Ethan pulled a sleek black card from his pocket. "Take this. If you ever need help, call me." She blinked at the card, then shook her head. "That's kind, but no thank you. We'll be fine." Ethan's brows lifted slightly. He wasn't used to people refusing him, especially not people in need. Her quiet dignity intrigued him more than he cared to admit. As Maya walked away with her daughters, Ethan found himself watching her until the crowd swallowed them. For the first time in years, he felt something stir in his chest. Ethan Cole tried to forget her. He had an empire to run, meetings to lead, contracts to sign. Yet his mind kept circling back to the image of a tired young mother returning a wallet that could have changed her life. After a week of distraction, he gave in. He asked his assistant to find her. It didn't take long. Maya had moved into her aunt's modest home and was working part-time at a small diner, juggling shifts while caring for her twins. One evening, the bell over the diner door jingled as Ethan walked in. Maya froze behind the counter, her eyes widening. "Mr. Cole," she whispered. He gave a small smile. "I hope you don't mind me stopping by. I wanted to thank you properly." "There's no need," she said quickly, cheeks flushing. "I only did what anyone should do." "Not anyone," he repeated. His gaze was steady, disarming. Before she could say more, the twins came running from a back booth where a neighbor had been watching them. "Mama," they squealed, clinging to her legs. Ethan crouched down slightly, surprising her. "Hello, Emma. Hello, Lily." The girls giggled, delighted he remembered their names. From that night on, Ethan kept returning. Sometimes he ordered coffee, sometimes dinner, sometimes he just stopped by to talk. Slowly, he learned about her life, how her husband had abandoned her when the twins were babies, how she worked 2 or 3 jobs at a time, how she never let her daughters see her break down even when everything felt impossible. And slowly, Maya learned that Ethan wasn't just a cold, calculating CEO. He listened. He made the twins laugh. He stayed late to help her wipe down tables. Still, she kept her guard up. Their worlds were too different. She couldn't afford to let her daughters, or her heart, dream of something that could never last. One rainy evening, Ethan waited outside after her shift, holding an umbrella. Maya frowned. "You don't have to keep doing this." "Maybe not," he said. "But I want to." Her defenses wavered. She saw no pity in his eyes, only sincerity. He wasn't stunned by her poverty. He was stunned by her strength. The twins grew attached to him quickly, calling him Uncle Ethan. He read them bedtime stories, bought them little toys, taught them how to fold paper airplanes. And each time Maya saw the way he treated her girls, warmth bloomed inside her chest. But fear lingered too. "Your life is too different from mine," she told him one night after the girls had gone to sleep. "I don't want to be someone you save." He reached across the table, his hand covering hers. "Then don't be. Be someone who saves me instead." Her breath caught. "From what?" "From a life where trust and love don't exist," he said simply. Silence filled the small kitchen, broken only by the rain tapping softly at the window. Tears stung her eyes, but for the first time in years, they weren't tears of exhaustion or despair. They were tears of hope. Maybe finding that wallet hadn't been an accident. Maybe it had been fate, giving 2 people, one with everything, one with nothing, exactly what they had been missing all along. The hum of the airplane engines filled the cabin, lulling most passengers into drowsy silence. Maya sat in the cramped economy seat, her twin daughters pressed against her on either side. Emma clutched her ragged stuffed bunny, while Lily sucked her thumb, their small bodies warm against her arms. Maya exhaled quietly. Flying wasn't something she could afford often. She had scraped and saved for months, working long bakery shifts by day, scrubbing offices at night, to pay for these tickets. Now, they were moving back to her hometown, leaving behind a rented apartment she could no longer afford. Her life felt like an endless cycle of starting over. But at least she still had her girls. They were her reason to fight, her reason to endure. She leaned forward to reach under the seat for their backpacks when she spotted it, a brown leather wallet, half hidden beneath the chair in front of her. Maya frowned and picked it up. The leather was smooth, embossed with golden initials, EC. The weight of it surprised her. She opened it carefully and froze. Inside lay a thick stack of $100 bills and a bundle of sleek business cards. Her heart pounded. That money could pay for months of rent, groceries, and maybe even new shoes for the girls. For one fleeting moment, temptation whispered. Nobody had seen her pick it up. Nobody would ever know. But then her late mother's voice echoed in her mind. "Maya, you don't build a good life on someone else's loss." She swallowed hard and pulled out one of the cards. Ethan Cole, CEO, Cole Enterprises. Her eyes widened. She'd read about Cole Enterprises once, an empire spanning hotels, real estate, and technology. Whoever this Ethan Cole was, he lived in a world galaxies away from hers. Maya tucked the card back and held the wallet firmly. She would return it when they landed. The plane touched down smoothly. As passengers rushed to collect their bags, Maya gathered her daughters and walked to the front. She handed the wallet to a flight attendant. "I think someone left this on the plane. It looks important." The attendant gasped softly. "Oh my, This belongs to one of our VIP passengers in first class. Thank you so much for your honesty. Before Maya could leave, a tall man in a tailored suit stepped out from the front cabin. His presence was commanding, his expression unreadable. He was striking. Dark hair, sharp features, and eyes that seemed to see everything. Mr. Cole, the attendant said brightly. This lady found your wallet. Maya froze. This was Ethan Cole. His gaze flicked from the attendant to Maya, then down to her daughters, who clung shyly to her skirt. Finally, his eyes landed on the wallet in her hands. You found this. His voice was low, smooth, but carried authority. Yes, Maya said softly. It was under the seat in front of me. Ethan opened it, scanning the contents. Everything was intact. Relief flickered across his face, quickly replaced by something else, curiosity. He could tell at a glance that this woman had little. Her shoes were worn, her clothes plain. Yet she had returned thousands without hesitation. Thank you, he said slowly. You've saved me from a very complicated trip. Maya shifted uneasily. It's nothing. Anyone would have done the same. Not anyone, he replied, his gaze steady. The twins tugged at her hand. Mama, can we go? Emma whispered. Yes, sweethearts, Maya murmured, eager to leave. But, before she could, Ethan pulled a sleek black card from his pocket. Take this. If you ever need help, call me. Her brows furrowed. That's kind, but unnecessary. We'll be fine. Ethan blinked. Few people ever refused him, especially not people in need. Her quiet dignity intrigued him. As she walked away with her daughters, Ethan found himself staring after her until she vanished into the crowd. For the first time in years, something stirred inside him. He was stunned. Part 2. Back in his office tower overlooking the city, Ethan Cole couldn't focus. His board meetings blurred, his phone calls felt hollow. His mind kept circling back to the young woman on the plane, Maya, and the way she had returned his wallet without a moment's hesitation. People in his world lied, cheated, and schemed for far less. But she, with nothing to spare, had chosen honesty. That kind of integrity was rare. Precious. Finally, he gave in. Find her, he instructed his assistant. It didn't take long. Maya was working part-time at a small diner near her hometown, balancing shifts with caring for her daughters. One evening, the bell above the diner door jingled as Ethan stepped inside. Maya froze behind the counter, eyes widening. Mr. Cole, she whispered. I hope you don't mind me stopping by, he said gently. I wanted to thank you properly. There's no need, she replied, cheeks coloring. I only did what was right. Most wouldn't, Ethan said. Before she could respond, the twins came running from a back booth. Mama, they clung to her legs, then peered curiously at the tall man in the suit. Ethan crouched slightly, surprising Maya. Hello, Emma. Hello, Lily. The girls giggled, delighted he remembered their names. That night marked the beginning. Ethan returned often, at first with excuses, ordering coffee, grabbing dinner, but soon just to talk. He listened as Maya spoke of her struggles, how her husband had abandoned her when the twins were infants, how she worked tirelessly to give her daughters a decent life. Ethan, in turn, found himself sharing things he rarely voiced, the loneliness of wealth, the distrust that shadowed every relationship in his world. The twins grew fond of him quickly, nicknaming him Uncle Ethan. He read them bedtime stories, made them laugh with silly faces, even taught them how to fold paper airplanes. Maya, despite herself, began to soften. But doubt lingered. One rainy evening, she confronted him. Ethan, your life is too different from mine. I don't want to be someone you save. His gaze held hers, steady and warm. Then don't be. Be someone who saves me instead. Her breath caught. From what? From a life where trust and love don't exist, he said simply. Silence stretched between them, broken only by rain tapping at the window. Tears pricked her eyes, not from despair this time, but from hope she hadn't dared to feel in years. Maybe finding that wallet hadn't been an accident. Maybe it had been fate, bringing together a weary mother and a man who had everything, except what truly mattered. And as Maya looked at Ethan, with her daughters giggling softly in the next room, she realized something. Sometimes, the greatest treasures weren't found in wallets or wealth, but in the hearts we stumble upon when we least expect it.